Hey guys, it's Windwolf and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a base game blue Suburban build, which you can see right in front of you. I sort of lost the footage of doing the exterior shell, so that's why I'm showing a picture right now. If I find it, I'll just put it in right after this, and you guys can watch a speed version of the shell with probably music over it, but if not, we're just going to get right into the speed build. So starting in the kitchen, we have this huge, massive kitchen. And then attached to it is a dining space. However, I also add this little circular table just over the window, so it's kind of like a little breakfast nook type area. And then the dining room is by itself, which I don't know if many people have like separate dining rooms lately, but this house was so large that it kind of worked out to just have a separate dining area. The kitchen was pretty difficult to do just because of how large it was. I struggled a lot with choosing the correct counters at first, but you can see I think this was the best one to go with because the other ones were like too fancy. So the options were either too fancy or too modern, or just didn't make sense at all. So this is why I went with this one. And obviously I can't use the cheap ones because they look terrible, but I think this one worked out really well. Okay, throughout the whole entire build, I basically struggled because this is a base game only home. And it has a lot of bedrooms, a lot of rooms in general. It's a huge, huge, huge house and it's so much repetition. So I was trying not to repeat too many things at once, but we're just so limited in the base game. I never really realized how few items the base game actually has until now. Doing this build was so difficult. I actually started it a year ago and then I took a massive break from it and then started it back again in March. And then I restarted it again in May, and I finished it up in May, and now I'm doing the video finally. So that's why I am uploading it after so many months of struggling and giving up and just losing a lot of patience. The updated items definitely helped a lot with like the new CC items that aren't CC but are made by CC creators. In the whole entire house, we go for a lot of very light colors, so it's very like cream colored or very muted colors. Once again, things that are very hard to find in base game because we all know how much The Sims loves to have extremely pigmented out there colors. Why is beyond me. So the downstairs floor consists of the entryway. There's a formal sitting space that will lead you into the kitchen, and then from the kitchen is the dining room, and then on the right side you have this actual living room with a TV. And you can also see the parents' master bedroom is right there along with their ensuite bathroom, and they have two office spaces, one for each parent obviously. One tends to be more masculine and also very much more formal, sort of like I imagined like a business person to live there, or someone that needs like a conversation area because they have two chairs facing their desk, so maybe like lawyers, or I don't know. It just seemed like something that's kind of like the vibe I thought of at least. And then the other room is a little bit more casual. I imagine maybe like an art critic, or a publicist or photographer maybe, or maybe even like a doctor. I feel like could have that office space. I just felt like it was a little bit more casual, but given the paintings I added, I felt like art critic or publicist made more sense. But that's just kind of the vibes I got for it, and those were what the Sims I made for it. So yeah, but I didn't make anything super personalized that you can't like use it for any sim. So it can basically be used for any like job, but obviously I didn't like add a specific skill item or something. So if you need a specific skill item, you're gonna have to put that somewhere else. This house is so big, so I'm sure that if you need to add like an art easel or a piano or something, you will definitely have the space for it, no doubt. And then going upstairs, we're making the first room. This is a kid's bedroom, obviously with bunk beds, traditionally more feminine, lots of pink and blue, very saturated colors. I struggled so much trying to figure out how to do like the walls. I don't very much enjoy having just one wall color in rooms, so I tend to try to mix and match, especially when I get to play with pink and blue together. But it was just very difficult for me to kind of envision this. It looked very like odd. The purplish pink didn't really match the pinker pink, so I was like, it doesn't look good, but we got it working in the end. They have a cute little play area in the corner. All of this stuff that you see right now is going to move into an office space instead. these two kids have their own office together, and it also kind of works for the toddlers. We have a toddlers room next door. When they grow up, you will need to like add desks and stuff. Right now, the office is really only configured for the two kids living in this room. So in the office space, there's 2 desks for them to do their homework, and then there's also some kids activity toys like the science table or the drawing table and stuff like that. So yeah, and as you can see, I'm adding right now the little circle area. Oh, now we're working on the desk area. So okay, so like I was saying, this is the office space. The toddler's room is right behind this room, and it's a very big room. Okay, the toddler's room is like absolutely massive. I don't know why I made it that big, but it just worked out pretty well because I felt like the toddlers would have all their toys there, and if they need, eventually when they grow up, they're gonna need their own office space. So yeah, and then there's also a teens room, which is like very dark and like black. They have their own bathroom, which I imagine, because this house is very expensive, so I imagine maybe the parents are a little bit rich, so they kind of let their kid completely redesign their own bathroom. So their bathroom is very much more like very much black and very much more like very much, why am I saying very much? That just sounds bad. It's like it's very modern in comparison to the rest of the house. So the kid like basically has their own like customized bathroom. They have a huge L-shaped desk, which you'll see at the end, and it has a lot of monitors on it, and so that's kind of like the whole gamer setup you need, like the total dream for a teenager to have like this huge gamer setup. And then there's also a grandparents room, and the grandparents have their own bathroom, their own office, and yeah, the kids also have their own like bathroom. So all the bathrooms are like right next to the room, so you'll know like what bathroom is for who. The only person that doesn't get their own bathroom, I believe, is the toddlers. I think, but everything else, like obviously they're all hallway bathrooms, but I would imagine like they're designated to specific people. So yeah, there's no ensuite bathrooms, but they're just kind of things I would expect, that like that bathroom is for these kids and then the other ones are for those people. So yeah, obviously the grandparents have the biggest bathroom because they're the adults, so they should have the bigger one. I also added an in-home gym, which I really love. I kind of imagine maybe the kid likes having a really good gym, so the parents set one up for him or her or whatever other pronoun we'd like to use. But because my sim is a guy, that's why I'm referring it to as him. So yeah. It's also very much dark. It has like a treadmill and a lot of mirrors. I really wish I had mirrors in my like full length mirrors in my house, so when I like work out I could see myself. I always used to get confused. I'm like, why do people have mirrors in the gym? But I realized when I actually started working out that it's helpful to like see your form, obviously, when you're doing workouts, and then also if you're like a dancer or something, it's completely makes sense why you would have mirrors. But it was just something I was always confused about. So if I ever get an in-home gym, I'm definitely going to get myself some full-length mirrors to cover the wall. That would be a really big dream. Although I don't know if I would want to like have a home gym, you know? Because I feel like it's good to get out of your house. Like obviously it saves time if you don't have to drive to a gym, and probably saves money on gas and saves money on membership, but also like I don't want to work out in my house confined in like some tiny room, you know? So, although I have always wanted a home gym, but then I really think about it. The only thing I really want at home is a pool, because I don't like using the community pools. I do use them because I was a swimmer. I was a swimmer in high school. I was on the varsity team. Varsity team. Our school didn't have anything other than a varsity team, so everyone that swam was on the varsity team and got their varsity letter. So, yeah. But anyways, I was on the team for a couple of years, and then I had to quit because I got sick. But before that, I was still always into swimming. I was in swimming in elementary school and middle school. I had quit there was just like multiple things that happened, and then I had to stop swimming, and I got really bad at it because I hadn't practiced in so many years. But yeah, so I love swimming. I swim to work out all the time, not like competitively, but just like to get the workout in, and I like swimming. So yeah, and it's also like a super quick way to gain muscle and lose fat. So if any of you guys want to try something to do for like workouts, I highly suggest swimming, because there's no issue with like joint pain, especially if you're an older person. Swimming is a really good exercise. But that's like the one thing I wish I did have in my own house was a pool, because the community pools are absolutely disgusting. Even with chlorine, they're disgusting. So, especially with COVID, I've just never want to go into a pool again. So, yeah. So I would really wish I had my own pool, because it would just make my life so much easier, you know, not having to use the community showers or anything like that. So that's like the one thing I would wish. But in terms of like an actual home gym, definitely not. Definitely not. Except unless there was something I was like embarrassed to do in public. But I don't really know what that would be. Like, I don't think there's anything specifically that I would like need in a home gym that I couldn't do at. Well, maybe like yoga, but like I feel like you don't need a gym to do yoga. So yeah. I've completely lost track of what we're working on right now. I think we're working on the bathroom for the grandparents. Not sure. Actually, no, maybe this is the downstairs bathroom for the parents. It looks like the bathroom for the parents, at least. I'm not sure. There is a mix of showers and bathtubs in this house. I tried to give everyone a shower, but, you know, you only can fit so much in a bathroom, especially like a 2x3 bathroom, but I tried to fit everything, or at least give enough options, since I did make this house for toddlers, and toddlers obviously need a shower, or not a shower, they need a bathtub, so that's why I tried to mix both in. I also really want to do that trick with like the bathtub when it has people like put shelves over their bathtub so it kind of looks like a tray. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen that kind of stuff on Instagram, where people like have their tray and they put like a candle on it and a book, and they're all like set up for their spa day in the bathtub. I don't know how many people actually do that in real life, or if the people who actually post that stuff do that in real life, because it just seems like such a waste of time. Like, baths are kind of gross, you know? You're kind of sitting in your own water, like you're dirty. Like, I don't know why you would want to sit in like heated dirty water, and it's already like proven that there's more germs if you're taking a bath than if you're taking like a shower, obviously. So I wouldn't want to do that. I also think that the water would just get super cold super quickly, so I'm not sure how much time you're actually going to be spending reading that book in front of your fancy candle. And I hope to God no one is eating in the bathroom when they're taking a bath, because that's absolutely disgusting. I'm sorry. Okay, like, you do you, you know? But also, seriously, germs, come on. Please don't eat in the bathroom. That's really gross. Anyways, now that I'm done with that rant, I'm just adding some more clutter in. This is it's not a super long video. Like, I've made longer videos, but it took me so long to build. It would have been a long video if I had my footage of actually doing the shell, because that took a long time. We have this, if you guys didn't know, this house is in my neighborhood, and I am in love with this house, okay? I don't know if I said this already or not. I feel like I've already forgotten what I said like 20 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago, so yikes. But I am in love with this house. I would love to live in a house that looked like this someday. I've always struggled, like, what house do I want to live in? Because in case you guys don't know, I'm only 20, so I'm not like ready to get a house anytime soon, or even an apartment, because if it wasn't for COVID, I'd be living in a dorm room right now, but because of COVID, I'm living at home. So even then, I like wouldn't get an apartment. As a senior in college, I wouldn't have an apartment. It was never my plan to like get an apartment for college. I've always wanted to just live on the dorms, and the reason for that is very simple. I don't have to wake up early and take a bus to get to the university. And all the dorms are like on campus, of course, so you just kind of walk to classes. But if you live in an apartment, even if they're the university apartments, you have to take a bus. And the bus system at my university absolutely sucks. Okay, it doesn't come half the time. There's an app that's supposed to track them, but it does a terrible job. So I would hate to like have to deal with all that. And plus, a lot of my classes end at like 10:20 p.m. For what reason is beyond me, but they end like 10:20, 10:30. I think the latest is 10:30, but maybe I've had a class that goes till 10:50. I'm not entirely sure, and certain I remember. So I don't really want to be dealing with like public transportation at 10 p.m. at night. So that's another reason I don't want to get an apartment. Obviously, it's not really a huge issue because it's university bus system, but even then, it's like not something I want to deal with right now. especially if I have the option to just live on campus and walk to classes. Plus, I like to have breaks in my schedule, so I've always spaced out my schedule. It's really interesting. If you guys are in college, let me know how you guys set up your schedules, because personally, I always have like a few classes in the morning. I have like an hour at least of a break, and then a couple classes in the afternoon, and then some evening classes. So I kind of have like breaks in between all my classes, but some people like to just get everything done in one go. So they'll have classes going from like 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. and that's it. They'll be done with their day at 2 or 3 or whatever time. You know, it depends on how early you start your classes, but they'll just do everything in one chunk. So they get like no breaks except for maybe lunchtime. I hate doing things like that. I don't know how people can maintain the concentration to constantly be in class like for 7 hours straight. I mean, I know you do this in like high school. I did this in high school. Everyone does this in high school and middle school and elementary school. But dear Lord, why do they do that to people? It's like such a bad idea to like be focusing for that many hours straight, because you're going to get tired. You're going to lose your focus. And it's just like not a good idea. So I don't think that high school should be like organized that way. I don't think elementary schools should be organized that way, or middle schools. But it's just like kind of how it works. Obviously, it works out best for those, like especially elementary and middle school, because they can't drive themselves anywhere. So if they were to have a break, they'd just be like sitting in their school doing nothing, you know, for like an hour or two. Like that doesn't make sense. But at the same time, it doesn't really make sense to have 7 hours of classes in one stretch. So let me know how you guys do your schedules, because that's how I've done my schedule. It always worked out really well for me, but I do get it. Like I like the idea of finishing things in one go, so that way you're not like waiting to your next class. But at the same time, I don't have like the ability to maintain all of that at once. What is interesting is that college has kind of made me a morning person, which I never in my wildest dreams expected. So freshman year of college, I had classes at 10 a.m. in the morning, so I didn't really have to wake up early, but I would wake up by about 8 or 9, or at least I'd try to wake up about 8 or 9. I also had a class that started, like my day would start at 11:15 sometimes. Those days I sometimes slept in, especially when I would like lose my schedule. I'd start sleeping in more, but for the most part I tried to be up by 9 or 10 at the latest. But second semester of my freshman year, I had a class that started at 8 a.m. in the morning, and another class that started at 7 a.m. in the morning, and attendance was required for literally no reason. It was it was a MATLAB course, which is a programming course, in case you guys don't know what MATLAB is. I love MATLAB. It's super fun. The class was fun. The teacher or the professor was really fun. But the lecture was almost completely pointless to me. I didn't like it. It was kind of just, he would just basically explain what the lab was doing, but I never found them very useful. So I would kind of just like sleep during class. Not really sleep, but I'd just be like not paying attention, you know, doing other stuff like other homework. Hoping he wouldn't notice that. So yeah, but I don't know why that class was required, but either way, it made me a morning person to have to wake up at 6 a.m. every day. I also had to work. I have an on-campus job, or I did back when I was on campus, as a tutor. Not tutor, but it was like it's like a community tutor service. So it's actually, you work with like elementary kids from the public school district in the city that the university is in, and it's just for like helping people who are lower income and stuff like that. So that's something I did, and they required you. So we would have like sessions on Saturday with the kids, but then we also had to go to a public school on or at least like once every 2 weeks, I think. So I had to do mine at 7 a.m. in the morning, because that was the only time that worked with my schedule. Probably because all of my classes were in like the middle of the day. So I kind of did that to myself. But so that also made me wake up really early. And then post-COVID, my university is in Eastern time and I am in PST, which is Pacific time, which means it's 3 hours earlier. Like PST is 3 hours earlier than EST. So all of my classes that were at 10 a.m. EST were actually at 7 a.m. PST for me. So I had to wake up early like 4 days of the week, which was basically every day of the week at that point. So I definitely become a morning person. Now in summer, I wake up at 8 a.m. on my own. So that's really great. I actually really like waking up early, because I can do my workouts, and then eat and I have time to eat, and it doesn't feel like I've lost the day at all and I'm like staying up late. It feels like I've woken up early and I'm done with my entire morning routine, like working out, eating, getting some preliminary work done, and it's like still like 9 a.m. in the morning, which is really great. So, highly suggest being a morning person if you aren't one. Obviously, everyone has different schedules that work for them, but I just think in general, being a morning person is just the best way to go. I think everyone secretly strives to be a morning person. Like, let's be real. Here you can see I'm working on the garage. I try to fit garages in my builds a lot because I do like the realism of having a garage. Obviously, I didn't like actually put a car in here because there's no cars in The Sims, but it's just kind of like a little workspace. But yeah, we reached the end of the video. You're getting into screenshots right now. I hope you liked this video. I was ranting a lot today, very fast, so I hope that's not a bother. But yeah, if you guys like this video, as always, please give it a big thumbs up. If you like me, hit the subscribe button. If you really like me and be notified every single time I post a video, go ahead and hit that bell button. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you next time.